Hello, Rayan here. This is my final project for CIS 9467. So my project is about the valuation model that I created for a pharmaceutical company to determine the future IPO price range as well as its internal rate of return. Before we jump into the project, I'd like to talk about something about the background information. Well, I used to work in an investment bank back in China. I was once assigned by my director to establish a valuation model of this pharmaceutical company that's aiming for IPO in recent years, but I didn't have enough time to finish the valuation before I came to work for a master's degree study. So I decided to finish the project as it coincides with the topic of this course perfectly. Of course, for confidentiality reasons, I censored and adjusted some of the data and information, but this is still a real-life case that I think is worthwhile of perfecting it. So the company, VC, is an international pharmaceutical instrument supplier which focuses on navigation, diagnostic, therapeutic technologies to treat patients with lung diseases. It now has two main lung disease navigation products, as you can see here, LungPro and LungPoint. Along with the two devices, their consumables, say intervapor, generator, here, ATV SAD, well, those are all consumables sold along with the devices, which means, well, for each one of the products, say LungPro or LungPro, so there's some fixed number of consumables sold as well. So in this tab, I'm dividing the key assumptions into several factors. So this column is the key assumptions, and those are the numbers calculated based on the key assumptions. So the first one is about the market size. Since the target clients of this company are all high-tier hospitals, so I divide hospitals in several categories, and calculating for each one of those. And the second part is about the quantity of its devices. Two main devices, first one LungPro, second one LungPoint. Those are the numbers calculated based on the penetration rate and the production capacity of its company as well. And as for the intervapor generator, well, it's still in the R&D phase, so I'll just leave it blank right here. And for the consumables, as I mentioned before, those are sold along with the products, so simple calculation. Note that I have a learning curve assumption here, which means that in the first year, the quantity needed to finish the lung disease navigation process is at a very high consumption, at a very low level, 3 sets per month for each one of the hospital. But this number will gradually grow up to 120 sets per month as there's a higher demand, there's definitely a higher supply. And for RF, there's a learning curve assumption as well, except that the number will double every year. Now, after that, there's the retail recommended price range, which is known as the sales price for this product. And as for the company's marketing strategy, there's a discount rate on each one of its products, ranging from 80% to full price, respectively. And the last part is about the cost, which is also known as the cost of goods sold, or we can just interpret it as the cost of producing those products. And of course, the cost of consumable. And also the production capacity, which I will touch on later. Now let's get into the FCF model. Well, as for the FCF model, what we're trying to do here is trying to calculating the future free cash flows and discounting the free cash flows discounting the future cash flows and determine the present value of the company and determine the internal rate of return and of course the IPO price range. So the first part is about the net revenue driven by LungPro, LungPoint, and along with its consumables. So there's a summary divided by its subsidiaries. So it has 3 main subsidiaries. The first one is VC China, which basically concentrates 80% of its business, and also VC Asia, BMI, which is its subsidiary, focuses on the market of the United States and Europe. And the second sector is the cost sector, the cost of goods sold section. So I've calculated the cost of one of each products, one pro, one point, and consumables, and here's the summary. And we simply subtract the cost, subtract the revenue by cost, and we get gross profit right here. And here are the sales and marketing costs, and operation costs, clinical costs, and G&A, which is also known as general and administrative costs. So finally, we're getting, after subtracting all of those costs, we're getting the operating profit. So as you can see here, the very first 2 years, we're getting a negative number that's very common. But after that, the company is going to be experiencing a rapidly growing operating profit, which is phenomenal. So let's go to the last part. So we're trying to get our FCF. What we're trying to do here is we subtract D&A, which is also known as depreciation and amortization. And we get EBIT, and we also subtract taxes. Tax rate is 20%, and subtract total net working capital and capital expenditure. And finally, we're getting the free cash flows of the firm. Now, note that I have several key assumptions in here as well. The WACC, we can select different WACC for the company, but after careful research, I think 12% is the appropriate number for the company. And the terminal values for some of EV, we have different choices, but 30% is the company's target. So we can finally have our discounted free cash flow of the firm. And after adding the PV of the terminal value, we're getting an implied enterprise value of $265,349,434. This is quite phenomenal. Note that this company is actually experiencing a large amount of negative free cash flows in the first 2 years, but it's for the valuation model is getting a pretty high IPO price, and the internal rate of return is also very, very astounding, as high as up to nearly 50%. And here I've got a sensitivity analysis. Well, it's called sensitivity analysis. It's just the data tab we covered in class, and it finally comes in handy right here. So in the row sector, I have different values. It's where the terminal value as percent of EV, and in the column section, I have different values for the WACC. So we're getting different IPO price range. Yeah, that's the sensitivity analysis is all about. Now, note that recall that the company is seeking for an IPO. Well, an internal rate of return of 50% is pretty good, but a higher internal rate of return, the better chance the company is going to get valued on a higher premium. So by using software, I want to determine how much the company can elevate its IRR. So I'm going to use software here. Note that there's a production capacity for the company, right? They can produce more than 50 devices in the first year, 50, so those numbers cannot exceed the restrictions. After inputting all of those numbers, you get a final IRR of nearly 65%. That's pretty good for a company like that. So yeah, this is basically this valuation model. As I just want to do a little wrap up, this company is in a very promising industry, so it definitely worth a higher value in terms of premium. So no wonder it can get high up to nearly $360 million US. Well, it actually makes sense because pharmaceutical devices production industry is growing rapidly. That's the wrap up for my other project. Thanks for listening.